For all their talk about oppression, women sure are quick to give up their guns. How the hell are they expected to defend themselves against the evil white patriarchy? That is why a vote against guns is a vote against women. Can you smell the irony? This is a perfect shirt for protests, hell, for family reunions. Available only at invisiblehandfashion.com. Please use the promo code SPACEGHOST for 10% off your first order. Link is in the description, bitches. Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here, Redonkulous.com. And don't let the black shirt fool ya. This is Bad Popp here, and Evil Popp fucked us both on the laundry, what can I say? I got a lot of nasty ass news I gotta tell you, and it's not my goddamn underwear, which smells, by the way.
That's a little bit more information than I needed, Vince, but go right ahead.
Anyway, we're gonna talk about something that we all remember, and many of us have some fine memories of, and a few of you out there don't. I'm talking about high school, you know what I'm saying? Not that I did anything like that, I'm just saying. And if any of my teachers from high school are still alive in your oxygen tent, remember that day when all of the doors in the math hallway were glued shut with super glue and a toothpick was inserted into the locks? I'm not saying I did that, but I probably have information. In fact, I do have some information about Ho School Today, which is the finishing school for the Sorostitutes, which I made a video about. Check it out. And no, there were no slurs of the speech. I'm not that drunk. I really did mean Ho School. Ever since they came up with the Federal Department of Education, no one's getting educated. Instead of being educated, they're being indoctrinated and not inoculated, and polio is making a comeback. Space Ghost.
A few hundred parents like you decide they'd rather let their kid die than cough up $40 for a vaccination. Believe me, prices will drop really fast.
I wish with every fiber of my black dead heart that there was a vaccination for stupid. Because if there was, I wouldn't be here and I'd have more time to drink. And that is why we're talking about Ho School High School today, because this is where it all starts. So please pour yourself the menagerie of alcohol, same parameter supply, and hopefully you have some room in your stomach because I have some food for thought. Let's take out the spelling. Yeah. I'm a pornosaur, and I didn't even know what thought was. I remember watching a couple clips going, hey, she's got a nice ass. I thought it had something to do with that. I couldn't have been more wrong. For those of you who are not in the know, thought means that whore over there.
Actually, Pop, it means that hoe over there.
Really?
Whore starts with a W.
Oh, so then that would be twat. Screen 5. You'll learn something new every day, or you stumble onto shit that's simply genius. I need a shot. Speaking of genius, I want to give a shout out to TT. We're not going to use your name, for giving us all of the inside information on what the fuck's going on in the schools today. That's right. Everything that I'm about to share with you comes right from the horse's mouth. So for those of you out there who are gonna get butthurt and pissed off because I'm gonna tell you the truth, I really don't care because that is my job. So if you finally do get pissed off and you decide, hey, now is the time that I should speak up against the teachers and the system, you're a little late for that, you brainwashed ball washer. The boat has already set sail. If you had enough wisdom to question it back in the day while you were being indoctrinated, you wouldn't be a sheeple today. I'm just saying, where would leftism be today without their herd of useful idiots? Space Ghost.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
But here's the rub. You cannot create useful idiots and sheeple if you have competition. And that is why schools today teach collaboration over competition. And you want to know what's really hilarious here? Competition is one of the key male virtues. Competition has been programmed into the male psyche since the beginning of time. That's how they find out the pecking order. And that pecking order is how men sort out who the betas are and who the alphas are. And you know who's throwing that monkey wrench into eons of evolution? Feminism, winning gonorrhea. And that's what makes all of this so funny and yet so sad. The funniest thing of all is feminists, they don't seem to realize that the joke is on them. Because one day these feminists, they're gonna leave the nest known as hoe school, and they're gonna put on the big boy pants and look around and go, hey, there are no good men around here. Of course there's no good men. And you wanna know why? You castrated them when they were boys. You refused to let nature take its course. And you told these boys that their masculinity was toxic. And what do? You get an ocean of beta males. Water everywhere, and not a drop for you. And that is why you have 80% of the women out there flocking in droves to bang 20% of the dudes. And then they get pissed off when these dudes don't want to write a check against it. And why would they? Just look at the ratios of women in college to men. And guess what that spells? An all-you-can-fuck buffet. If you're an alpha male in that situation, be prepared to throw your back out. You will look like Scrooge McDuck diving into a mountain of gold coins. And those coins, they're pussy. Screen 5.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You're fucking scum.
You claim that you want a real man, but you shame us and make us feel like shit when we act like one. And that is where all the soy boys come from. You know, the ones with their mouths hanging open? And you know why they're hanging open? Because they're begging for cock. Screen 5. You don't want to date these guys. And when you do, you cheat on them.
Sorry, can't remember if I mocked you yet for being a male nurse.
I think this counts.
Fair enough.
Oh, wait a minute. That's typical leftist bullshit. Create the problem and then bitch about it. I'm gonna go drink more. And you wanna know why I drink? It calms me down. Kinda like Ritalin. Segue, we're gonna talk about one of the biggest scams Big Pharma has pulled on us. ADD and ADHD, what a bunch of shit. It's a scam, sham, flim flam, you fucking name it. And you wanna know why? Number one is this. There's big money in it. Whenever big money shows up, so does corruption. And number two, it is awfully convenient that these diagnoses affect primarily males. I was an asshole in school. I had energy coming out of my ass. And you know how they handled it? They ran me until I was tired. And that was a great way to make me pay attention, because there's no greater teacher than pain. But now, they are peeling back recess. They want to get rid of gym. Hell, they're getting rid of after-school activities. Where does all of that energy go? It gets bottled up, and these boys have a harder time focusing. And you want to know what? That's totally natural. They want the compliant. They want the complacent. They want the pliable. And if the boys don't fit in, drug them! And I find this part incredibly ironic. These schools are hyper vigilant about students coming to school with aspirin and Tylenol.
Passion makes a living telling men to behave more like women. Surprised you didn't throw psych symptoms into the differential.
And it's easy to become bored because now with Common Core, they're teaching to the bottom of the barrel levels. Oh, and by that, I mean girls. Screen 5. Sorry, ladies. Before you get pissed off at me, ladies, I'm just gonna tell you the reality on the ground. They are lowering the standards so you ladies can get into the military. And they're lowering the standardized test scores so you can all pass and not feel bad. Now, I'm not saying one is connected to the other. Yes, I am. But what would you expect from the finishing school for hooers? These girls show up to school and they're dressed like hooers, slurs, slags, and hags. And you have to let them do it because they're expressing themselves. And the media makes it sound like these girls show up to school dressed like Mennonites. And we all know that's bullshit. When I can see your dials and pegs through your shirt and your beef and cheddar at the same time. You're a whore and you're wearing a whore's uniform. And God forbid you should say, hey, maybe you shouldn't dress like that in school. You get the media involved, the whole faculty gets pissed off, and it turns into one big fat crucifixion, and you're getting your penis nailed to the cross. That's one in the middle and one on each side, and another one to hold the scrotum just to be sure. Huh? You were saying something about male privilege? Gonna watch me some Space Ghost. What does this all boil down to? A complete lack of accountability for the youth of today, especially the young women. The kid comes home with bad grades, they don't blame the kid anymore, they blame the teacher and the school. When I was a kid and I showed up with a D, I got my ass kicked or ridiculed for a semester till I brought the grade up. Because back then, we still encouraged a thing called, that's right, competition. But today, we're in a society, especially in the schools, where everyone wins. Everyone gets a trophy. There's no winners, there's no losers. Hell, that sounds like socialism. And you wanna know what's really scary? There are people out there that think just because I pointed that out, I should be wearing a tinfoil hat. Pound sand! This is not a conspiracy. This is reality. And just because you don't like it, doesn't make it any less true.
Maybe this way it'll finally sink in.
There's enough lies and bullshit out there flying around without me trying to add to that list. And that brings us back to accountability, which none of you have, but I do because I'm the white male and it's all my fault. Space Ghost. Instead of encouraging these kids to take accountability and responsibility, they give them a label which denotes an excuse or victimhood.
It's not your fault. You have ADHD. Here's some pills. You can't follow the reading? You must have dyslexia. Here's the computer. Hell, we'll give you a tutor.
And just so you know, all of these excuses come with a caveat. Because I really do have dyslexia, and it was undiagnosed until I was in the fucking army at 18. And then want to know what they called me? A lazy idiot with anger issues. Now I'm not gonna say anything about the latter, but the other two are bullshit. Hell, what can I say? I worked through my problem. Sometimes with my fists on people's faces, sometimes with bullets, but I'm good now. And if there's two things in this world that I am not, that is lazy and an idiot. Unless you voted for Hillary, then you must think I'm both, right? Screen 5.
What difference at this point does it make?
What I'm trying to tell you is these excuses only apply when you are not a white male. So either you're a lazy idiot with anger issues or a white male. For whatever reason, one of those is politically correct, and that shows how fucked up we are. These other students, there's no penalty for lateness, they get extra time, or they're just flat out excused. But only if they're not a white male. I would call that racism, but according to the new definition of racism, you have to have institutional power. Oh, you mean like affirmative action, the school board, or the Federal Department of Education? Screen 5.
What white people are, they're fucking aliens, they're fucking parasites.
But let me say this, black people cannot be racist.
There's absolutely no part of that sentence that is true.
You tolerant liberals, you're some racist motherfuckers. That's why I drink.
The bro next door encapsulates the life of Chad. He is the pinnacle, the legend. He can do no wrong. Women want him and men want to be him. His memoir is as absurd as his attitude. A link is in the description.
The only thing that you won't excuse is bullying, and I've already made a video about that. Check it out. Bullying falls into the natural pecking order. You might not like it, but it's a necessary evil. I would say that leftists have demonized just bullying, but it's not that simple. In fact, when you hear the word bully or you hear the media talk about a bully, what do you think about? Or to be more accurate, what is the picture that they put into your head? It's like Nelson from The Simpsons, the knuckle-dragging orangutan boy who kicks everyone's ass. He has that annoying laugh when he's done. So it's not really bullying that the leftists have demonized. It's just boys and men, because they're toxic. So what they've created is an actual toxic atmosphere that has nothing to do with masculinity. They have convinced an entire generation of boys and men to be ashamed for having a Peg D, as if we had some kind of choice in the matter. That is the mold we were poured into when we were issued our skin suits.
Sorry, I'm white. I'm sorry, I'm male. Why?
And you will stop at absolutely nothing to make us feel like shit about it. In fact, you blame us for the actions of men thousands of years ago. First of all, I'm not that goddamn old. Second of all, I'm not apologizing for God and fate, so fuck you. Listen, if you don't like nature, oh, wait a minute. You're already fucking up the world by trying to change it, Space Ghost. In the process, you have converted generations of men into whiny beta cuckboys. All the while excusing the bullying that women are doing on the other side of the gender fence, so when they grow up, they bully the puss boys later on in life. That is how you wind up being active shooter bait. Now, I'm not condoning that, but I understand. But another thing that I do not understand is most of the human resource jobs are populated with almost all women. So when a male employee shows up there and has to defend himself against some kind of sexual harassment kind of bullshit, he doesn't have a chance in hell. Because women never lie about that, right? Space Ghost.
They say I'm a hero.
Yeah, but you know, in a few days, Panda Bear will give birth to triplets and we'll all move on.
What chance do you have to defend yourself to a feminist about some sexual harassment claims? I'll tell you what the chance is. That's a fart in church. But what else can you expect from these bullshit indoctrination centers that have all of this girl power crap posted on the walls? You walk in and you see women can change the world, and there really are 52 genders, and everything you could do, I could do better. Unless it means doing a single solitary pull-up. Screen 5.
She's not a guy.
His DNA says you're wrong.
I know what kind of pull-up you need. It's the one that catches shit when it falls out of your ass. Hell, you should get one for your mouth. Space Ghost. Oh my God. I challenge you. Go to the high school of your children and look around and see what kind of crazy propaganda is on the walls. But the only posters you'll see about boys are telling them not to be rapists. Because only boys and men rape, right? Wrong! You want to know what this is? This is basically a dossier and the material for all of the female teachers that have raped students in the past 15 years. Most of these female teachers, when you average out their sentencing, they do less than 2 years. Ask yourself how much a man would get for the same crime, and then we'll talk about male privilege. Space Ghost.
Nigga, please.
These women can dress as provocatively as they want, and they know they'll get away with it because they have the media and the school board on their side. And any teacher who brings it up or says anything is gonna get fired or reprimanded. Heaven forbid if little Johnny shows up with a picture of one of the swimsuit models from Sports Illustrated and his Trapper Keeper, he's going home. Yeah, I know, I said Trapper Keeper. I love those things and I just dated myself. Fuck off. They were useless, everyone had them, but they were fucking cool. I wish the double standards ended there, but they don't. If you're a girl, you can go into the girls' room. You can go into the boys' room and you're not gonna get in trouble. But if you're a boy and you walk in there thinking you're gonna see yourself some beef and cheddar and a catcher's mitt, you're going home, you're getting suspended, you'll probably get expelled and the police will come to your house. And again, I'm not making this shit up. This all came from a real world teacher.
Never was raped. Not raped. Well, raped, but not raped.
Well, you know what? Sooner or later, none of this is going to matter, especially if Tumblr gets their way. Because if they do, they're gonna need 117 different bathrooms in that school, links in the description, and be prepared to build a new floor. Being gender confused, that has actually become popular. There isn't enough booze on this bar or in the world for that. We are now at the point where it has actually become a status symbol to come out of the closet and claim one of these artificial science fiction genders. People are now sexually attracted to roller coasters. And no, I'm not making that up. She's making that up. Links in the description. Fuck. I wish that this browbeating about pronouns and gender was happening just in schools. If you misuse somebody's pronouns, either on purpose or an accident, in my case, on purpose, they want to throw me in jail. Listen, you communist, socialist, leftist pussies out there, the book 1984, it's a cautionary tale. You're using it as a fucking manual. I wish that was a joke, because it would be hilarious. But it's not. And you know what that makes it? Downright terrifying. Now, ladies, you might want me to apologize because I upset you. But I'm not going to do that because the truth is not an insult and reality is not an attack. And if you don't like that situation which you created, you can suck it hard, suck it long, and don't you dare spit out any of the yogurt at the end. In conclusion, I have two things to say. I am shocked and I am thankful that one teacher out there had the balls to write in and tell me the truth. Because reality paints a very bleak picture of our education system. They are either enabling the problem or they are so paralyzed by political correctness, they believe they can do nothing to stop it. And why? Because they might hurt somebody's fifis, which is enough to get them fired today. And that brings me to this point. Thank God I am not in high school today. But, and I know how you love that, I have 2 daughters in high school now. And I'm telling you, it keeps me awake at goddamn night. I have trouble communicating the truth to my own children. Not just my daughters, all your children. They live in a bubble known as an echo chamber. And while they're in that echo chamber, they will be coddled to by the teachers and the staff, and they'll be taught only what the school wants them to learn. All good things come to an end, and sooner or later, school is out. And when you get into the real world, nobody gives a fuck about your feelings. Hell, they don't even care if you eat. If you are one of the fortunate few out there that is a father who gives a fuck about you, and he tells you this shit when you're 14 or 15, 16, you have to realize he's being short-term mean to be long-term nice. Do you want to cry a little bit now and then be successful? Or do you want to be coddled and wind up fucking homeless? The choice is yours. Or you can go suck dick at 8 Mile. Hi, Ma, Screen 5. Hey, I know some of you guys out there like, holy shit, he just went there. I'm a comedian. I don't really mean it. Well, I do. Speaking of being a mondo whore, please check out the links in the description, Patreon, PayPal, and Maker support. If there's one thing that makes a whore loose, it's more alcohol, and that shit is expensive. And while we're at it, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and perhaps YouTube will stop being a whore and notify you when we make more. I'm serious. That's a prostitute. I mean, literally, they're being groomed for that in high school. They go right to college, and they just walk up to the door of a sorority and like,
I'm your new prostitute. Having a party on Friday? Where's the dick sucking line that I'll be in?
Instead of a kissing booth.
I need to break this fucker in.
Or instead of a kissing booth, it's a blowjob booth.